Hello students and welcome to our HTML course beginner to expert level lecture number 5, and in this lecture we are going to talk about HTML text formatting. As text is the main part of any HTML web page, you cannot imagine a web page which is just having images or multimedia without having some text. Text is the basic fundamental which any web page should have. So in order to display a text to the user in different formats, we used to prefer text formatting to basically text formatting means a knowledge of different tags in HTML which allows you to show your text differently. So that's what text formatting is, but we are going to discuss about some tags which makes us able to understand and have a knowledge about this text formatting. So alright, so before getting into the video, if you still not subscribe to my channel, then you can subscribe my channel from here, and I also created the Facebook page, so you can also join me over there. Okay, so let's begin. Here's my web page. So first of all, I just need to create a new in my Sublime Text. So as I already told you, so it's our HTML. And so first of all, if you're just creating a new tab in a Sublime Text, you need to first save it so that you can use the shortcuts for HTML as well. So here is in my folder, and I'm going to save it as index.html. Okay, now I can use the shortcuts. For example, I said return head, and when I just this, and it's automatically written out there. So title, these are very fundamental. I already told you about them. Okay, let's say the title is HTML text formatting. Okay, so the next part we need is a body for our web page. So I say body. Okay, now we are done. So first of all, let's create some heading. Let's say it's h2, which is aligned right. Okay, and what does it should contain is h2. Okay, it's closed over here as it's a closed tag. It contains text formatting. Just say this is okay, text formatting. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some things that you should know about text formatting, and some basic things like commenting. That what is commenting stands for in coding. Any programming language have this terminology known as commenting. So what does it means for, and how we are going to use that commenting in this web page, and what syntax means for, and what's the syntax for commenting. Okay, so if I talk about first of all syntax, then syntax means the way you write a code of a line of a code. Okay, so if I write this code is in this format, then this is the syntax of h2. And similar way, if I'm going to comment something, then the syntax of commenting is this. Way I comment the syntax, the way I comment it is the syntax of it. Okay, it's a little bit confusing. Okay, and now I'm going to talk about commenting. What is commenting? Sometimes when you just create a web page, then you are not only the person who is creating that web page. There are some other guys working with you as well. So suppose you are in a company, an IT company, and you leaves before your project gets completed. So another guy is have to understand your code and is have to work with that code. But the problem is you have written that code so that how he she will be able to understand your code. So whenever you just write your code, even for other guy or even for yourself, when you're just creating some big web pages or some big large systems and large projects, then you should there are multiple web pages or tons of pages, and you cannot remember all of them, that what I have written, why I have written this thing for that. So at the time when you're just writing the code, you just leave some comments over there, and at those comments will not be written not executed, or rather by interpreter or by compiler. They are just ignored. For example, in HTML, the way I comment is this. Okay, and this. Now the space between this is the scope of commenting, so I can write anything. These things will not be shown to our web page. For example, let's save it, and let's go to the folder where I have just made. Okay, now run it into the Google Chrome, where I am having the Google Chrome open with Google Chrome. So now you can see the thing whatever I have written in these syntax, in these some symbols will not be shown. Okay, let's remove this and test it again. So if I just refresh, then you can see that this text is being shown over here. So this is how you use the commenting method to make yourself able to understand that what you have written. So in different languages there are different formats to comment. In C there is double slash and backslash, all that, but for HTML what you need to remember is this is the syntax. So here's a note that the exclamation mark is only in the starting. At the end of the commenting where you have just finished or the commenting, you also need to show this, but there will be no exclamation mark. Okay, so let's say we are going to create bold text. So first of all, bold text. Okay, the next line says the bold text. So the syntax for bold text is very simple. You just need to write something in the B tag. Let's say it is so whatever I have written outside the B tag, outside the scope of B tag, will not be bold, and inside it will be bold. Okay, let's refresh it and move to our web page and just check. Okay, now you can see everything is basically very simple. I'm just giving you an information about this text formatting. Okay, there are some other, like for example, let me just copy it up from here and paste it. So the other example of which I can prefer you is italic. Okay, italic is just simple I. You can see similar to these. Okay, you can see this. I have just two cursors over here. Italic. When you just again move to your web page, and you can see that it's already done. So then nothing, not a big deal at all. So what I want to tell you is that I am providing you with a link in the description from where you can read about these, and you can use them into your web pages. So if I am just going to tell you line by line about all of these, then it will not be helpful for us. For example, if you want to write something superscript, subscript, then you also need to use for, I'm just changing here or here only, let's say subscript. So let's say 2. Okay, the 2, and I am writing here sub and sub. Okay, that's what subscript is. You can see here. And for similarly for the superscript, you need to write sup. Very easy to remember tags these are. You don't need to just mug up those tags. You can easily learn by practice only. I have never learned these. It's by practice as of your requirement while you just making the projects, but these are not much used when you are just moving on to the large scale. So for marking up the text or highlighting the text, there is mark tag. For example, you need to mark it up, then you can use mark text. Okay, and similar things are also, for example, quotations. You need to write some quotes, then you can also use these tags. For example, q tag for simple quotation. For block quotation, you can use block quotation itself. So I just give you an example of that also. For example, I need to write here block quotation. So I say block quote, and in the tag I just write something like the best way to predict future is to make it. So I have written this, and let's test it again. Okay, you can see it will be intended from left to right, and padding will be done. Alright, this is how the block quotation looks like. If you just change it to the simple quotation, like just change this tag with q tag. So what I'm going to do in Sublime Text, I'm now going to tell you a shortcut. Press Ctrl and D. After selecting this block quote, you can see the other block quote will be just in a box. So you need to press Ctrl D, and that will also be selected. Now you just need to press Q, and both of them will be changed simultaneously. Okay, now save it. Okay, I have save it and then refresh it. So now you can see that there will be an inverted comma at the starting of this. Okay, this is a quote. Similarly, there are a lot of things you can. I'm just providing you with the links. Just read them. You don't need to just learn them. Just read them. That yes, for this we need to use this. For this we need to use this. For example, if I want to highlight this, because I'm not doing so because it takes a lot of time and the video will be becoming more longer. So mark for highlighting those. Okay, very easy. Nothing to just remember, it's just by practice and doesn't used in future lectures. Okay, so I think that's all for this lecture, but then in the next lecture we are going to talk about something interesting, that is multimedia and hyperlinking. So I think I'll be first telling you about hyperlinking in HTML, and also what does hyperlinking means you will be just covered in the next lecture, that how we connect different pages and files with our HTML so that we can associate them together. Okay, that will be covered in the next lecture, and after that lecture we will be talking about multimedias in HTML. So that's all for this video. Hope you liked my video. If you do so, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, and I surely catch you in my next video.